Now, here. Okay. All right. Yeah, they need to sign me to something. No, you keep it here. All right.
Coach, today was about the most in sync the offense has looked, and I think it was also buoyed by the defense.
Yeah.
What can you take away from this game and how you performed on both sides of the ball?
Just the chemistry's building. Chemistry's building. We more time together. Players getting comfortable. Communications building where you get to know your players. You spend more time on the road with everybody, and just a consistent buy-in of your leaders that helps spread that spread that buy-in amongst everybody else, and it makes it more cohesive. But I think the more and more time gets together, and that's something that's the detail that we've paid attention to. So how can we continue to play together and build winning basketball habits with each other, where they complement you when you're going through some adversities and stuff like that.
Coach, the bench made considerable contributions today. Just wondering what your take is on Rebecca, Azare, Dana, and the whole bench coming in and contributing as they did today.
They were big, 35, 8 and 8 is what they had on 13 of 22 shooting. But I think one of the biggest things is in being 4 for 9 from the three as well, but one of the biggest things is that defensively they were locked in, and we didn't have drop off. Sometimes we maybe turned it over here or there, but we didn't have drop off as far as how we paid attention to detail of our scout and the personnel, and able to force them in the weak spots that we felt that they couldn't beat us with, and our bench kept that level going. So it was good to see them get some time to actually showcase what they can do and how important they are to what we do.
Coach, this was Emma's most complete game this season. It just seems like has been growing, like her game or performance just continues to ascend. What's been the biggest difference you've seen from her over the last few games?
She's a great player. I think it's comfortable, her comfortability, I guess, her being comfortable in what we're doing, her paying attention to the defensive side of the ball, and just getting her hands on things and making it difficult and being hard to play against. Emma's really hard to play against on the defensive end, and so she's able to go out and not only stop her man but also help others as well. And so that's what we need from that position. A lot of mobility, toughness, and just disruption.
You talked a lot about urgency a few days ago, and it feels like this team, along with that urgency, is also that's been paired with the aggressiveness that it's had. You see Ka take 15 shots tonight. Is that something that you were pushing her to do, just to be a little bit more aggressive over the last 2 games?
I think she's going to be comfortable. I think Ka's going to be Ka. She's going to get her shots because she has a higher motor than most people, especially people that she plays against. So she's going to get her shots. I think the last 3, we went from being the last place team in transition points, I think, to maybe a top 2 or 3 team in transition points the last 3 games, just if you take that small sample size. But the fact we've been able to get Kyle on one wing and Rebecca on another and been able to run, it's really helped us. And so Kyle's going to get those shots because she's going to put that extra oomph into running in transition, or she's going to get the spots on the floor that it's going to cause her to have long closeouts so she can attack. So I just think she has to get into a rhythm, and I think she's getting there. And so this is what we see. This is Ka just being who she is.
What's going on, Coach? Steve Brandon from Nuts and Bolts Sports. So we kind of talked about Emma Mieseman, and you talked about a few games ago about how she likes to catch it and move it. And speaking to that today, I call that being a connector, just getting things from point A to point B. She had 6 assists and 14 assist points created, which is also matched by Candace Parker. Talk about how when she blends that and also turns and also becomes a pressure point for your offense, and how much of a dynamic that just like shape shifts your offense into.
So I think, and not just Candace, Slew too. You know, they all had. I don't. That's bad if I say triple sixes, right? They all had 6 assists. I think that's the thing that probably when she got here and when she signed with us, that was a little bit undervalued or underseen, the fact that she can pass the ball so well. So it's not a surprise to us. Last time she was in the league, she averaged 4.5 assists a game. And so I know that, you know, maybe some people thought we were losing passing ability, but I actually thought we stepped up in that regard because we have somebody that can create offense not only for herself, but create for others as well. And so it's no surprise to us. And someone with such a high IQ, I just felt that her and Candace would really connect off of each other, as well as Z and Sloot and Allie and Ka as well. But when I'm talking about the positions, the high-low passes and stuff like that, you can actually run plays from the post with both of them. And you know you should be able to get a good shot for not just them, but for others, you know.
And then another thing that I've noticed over the last few games, and we kind of also mentioned this after the Aces game, and you guys have really been focusing on sets on offense. And you said in turn that kind of stagnates the rotations and everything defensively as far as knowing where to be and when to be there. So lately you guys have been flying around, tagging rollers, showing at the level, dropping, switching, short drop into a late switch. Has that been just coming from film, or is that just reps with the lineups that you're putting out, or is it just attention to detail from the players?
No, I think it's practice. I think it's practice every time. So we build this chemistry and we try to build everybody. So when you're building, and then when you add someone into it, it's like you have to start all the way over from zero because we don't want to leave anybody behind. And so it just takes time for it to connect and for us to see it work and, you know, continue to, like, we may do something on the 10th, but you bring somebody on the 14th and you got to go back to what you were teaching on the 10th. And so you can never get any like momentum going. And I think you see that now we have a base of people that are here. Now we can get some momentum going. And, you know, we got another player coming next week or this week, actually. And so hopefully it doesn't take, we don't have to start over again. But now once you have a base of like 10 players here, now they can help move her along. And she's a high IQ player too. So the attention to detail, it comes from everyone. It comes from the coaching staff. It comes from our leaders, and it comes from the younger players too that really want to step their game up and actually be a part of those leaders too. So it's just us buying into the chemistry and the culture that we have and just trying to build on it. A lot of film study though. And you know, when you don't have a lot of practice time, that's what you have to do. Yeah.
Coach, on Allie, it looked like she was not more selective today in when she got the ball and wanted to take her shots. She's been scuffling the last few games. She was 3 for 5 today. Was there anything that you said to her? Was there anything that you two discussed about how she wanted to work within the flow of the game today?
No, I just told her that I believe in her. So, I mean, it's going to come back. It just doesn't happen, you know. It just doesn't happen where you have the best shooter in the world. It's off. And if you look at the entire picture, so if you take her entire career, this is really, really small. It's just that's where we're in right now. And you'll see it and it'll be a distant memory, you know. It'll be a distant memory. So I just told her that I believed in her, and the shots that she got last game, they were great shots. And, you know, I'll put my life on the shots that she get. So I told her, you know, like, just keep shooting it. That's the only thing. She's the best shooter I've ever coached. And I just don't, and I see her shoot in practice. It's just about her getting her time and in a rhythm, and we understand that she is human and she didn't play since the end of February. So it may take a little time. But it's okay. All right, cool. All right, thanks, guys.
more comfort with that, just playing with them a little bit longer now?
So more than a couple of weeks ago. It's still gonna be a process. I think as a team, we're still trying to find like the flow. But today was a really good step forward. And individually, I think for more people, it's the same thing. I just think that's gonna be going a little longer than just a couple of weeks. We have to be the best in playoffs, right?
Dana, I mean, you just look so comfortable out there. Like, it just feels like you've really taken a huge leap from last year to this year. I mean, what is James telling you in terms of your aggressiveness and just making the most out of all the opportunities that you're getting this early?
I would say that he just always tell me to be myself. He always say, just go out there and be yourself. You play how you play, and then we'll adjust things as you go. So for me, it's just being a point guard first, and then figuring out what I need to do. If job today is sharing the ball and getting everybody else involved as well.
Thank you.
Dana, I just wanted to know what was going through your mind when you threw up that half-court shot at the buzzer. Did you have a gut instinct? Did you feel like it was going to go in?
Honestly, when I let it go, it felt good. So I just stood and watched, and when it banked in, it felt good. It looked good, so yeah.
Awesome. And just wanted to get your thoughts on the role of the bench today, because obviously the bench, you and Azare and Rebecca all came in and made tremendous contributions. So I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on the synchronicity of the bench at this point during the season.
We just got to be a spark off the bench. We have a great starting five, a lot of Hall of Famers and talented players in our starting five. So we just have to make sure that we keep the intensity up. We come in and defense is usually our main focus, and we let the offense flow. So just taking the pressure off our starting five and just letting them know that we're here to pick them up whenever they need us to. So just being ready at all times as well.
Hi, Emma. Kind of pursuant to what James said, the offense was really, really in sync today, particularly in that third and the fourth quarter, just the way that the ball was moving, and you were looking for your shot. But on the defensive end, you were able to break up a lot of pick and roll action that Washington was running. Just how have you as a team prepared for playing through the pick and rolls? Has there been any change in defensive assignments, where you switch, how you switch and recover, and then what do you look for in those specific situations to disrupt the other team's offense?
I don't think we really prepare for each team something different. We just have our basic rules and we try to apply that every single time. Being aggressive, using your hands. It's always a team defense. It's not just the two players that are involved in pick and roll. You know that the team behind you has your back. So we just, like you said, try to be disruptive. If that's using your body, your hands, jumping, we do it all because we know how hard it is when people do that. So we're just listening to the coach, I think.
All right, for Dana. So you spoke about how you guys like to focus on defense in the second unit because the offense will flow off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So is it tactical or is it just kind of like a matchup thing or something you're trying to speed up from your opponents when you take it upon yourself to dictate pace defensively from the point of attack and pick up full court?
I would definitely say I think for our bench five, I think we are really athletic. I think we're young and we're long. So us just picking up full court and me just being a pest on the ball, getting our hands on balls. Obviously, Rebecca is really, really good defensively. She got 2 big steals at the end of the game. So just being ready defensively, I think, and just doing what we do because we're athletic and we can disrupt a lot.
And for Emma, so defensively, I kind of talked about it with Coach Wade earlier. You guys like to switch up your coverages quite frequently to the point where you have your opponents, you can see them guessing what coverage you're in. So is that something that you typically talk about like in the middle of timeouts, coming out of breaks, or is it something that you as like the anchor of the defense calls out and your off-ball communication ahead of plays, ahead of sets from the opponents?
I got you. Well, I would say we usually change it from team to team depending on who's attacking. Like on Cloud, she's really good at attacking downhill. So just slowing up quicker guards. It really just depends on personnel as well. If we're set, we usually do a certain scheme. If we're not set, we go to something else. I don't want to give it away, but you know what I mean. But it usually changes from game to game, and we usually go over it around shoot around. So before the game, we'll usually kind of know what we're gonna do, and we talk about it too as well.
Dana, I know that you're picking things up every day as you go along, every game, every practice. Could you talk about what you learned playing against a player like Rui Machida, who has a kind of similar play style to you in terms of speed, getting around the corner, and what you take from there, both playing her on defense and then watching when she's on the court?
I would just say she's more of a pass first point guard. So learning that, I think I learned that from Sud as well, because she's a pass first point guard. So I get to witness that every day at practice and just watching her as well. But I think, yeah, she's good with getting everybody involved, and she makes open threes. She makes open shots. She has her feet set, getting everybody else involved. And I think it just kind of go from there. She's quick and she gets to the basket too, but she looks to find others first.
Last question, we'll go to Annie in the front. This team, I think, has since James took over, has had this offensive identity, and this year we're seeing you guys really take over on defense. I know he hasn't specified like what the identity of this team is, but do you guys feel like this is kind of a shift to more of a defensive identity this season?
I definitely think we definitely took a different look on our defensive end. I think we're a lot better. I think we're more athletic. We got people coming in that's really focusing on defense first. So our starting five, obviously, they score the ball so well. We just come in and we just pick up the slack from the defensive end on whatever they were lacking, and we just make sure that we do what they weren't doing in the first 5 minutes. But usually we pick it up. So, yeah.
All right. Thanks, players.
Thank you.